I was always drawn to the mysteries that lie beneath the surface of the ocean. The vastness of the deep sea, with its unexplored depths and unknown creatures, both fascinated and terrified me. Little did I know that my insatiable curiosity would lead me to a horrifying encounter that would forever haunt my dreams. It was a foggy autumn day when I boarded the research vessel that would take me on an unprecedented journey to the heart of the abyss. Our team consisted of seasoned divers, marine biologists, and oceanographers, each with their own expertise and tales of the unexplained. We set sail towards the remote location in the Pacific Ocean, where the depths were said to hold ancient secrets. Days turned into weeks as we ventured farther into the unknown. The waters grew darker, and an eerie silence enveloped us. The pressure was intense, as if the ocean itself warned us to turn back. But we pressed on, driven by the desire to unveil the hidden horrors of the deep. Finally, we reached our destination, a seemingly bottomless trench known as the Abyssal Labyrinth. The name alone sent shivers down my spine. As we prepared for our descent, I couldn't help but feel a sense of dread. Something was watching us from the shadows, lurking in the blackness below. I took a deep breath and plunged into the abyss. The water enveloped me, and the world above disappeared. Visibility was minimal, reduced to mere feet ahead. My heart pounded in my chest as I descended deeper and deeper, relying solely on the dim glow of my diving light. The coldness of the water seemed to seep into my bones, chilling me to the core. The pressure intensified, squeezing my body as if the ocean itself was trying to crush me. Strange and grotesque creatures passed me by, their alien forms illuminated by my weak beam of light. They looked like remnants of nightmares, a product of the ocean's deepest fears, but nothing could prepare me for what I would encounter next. As I ventured further into the abyssal labyrinth, I stumbled upon an ancient underwater structure. It was unlike anything I had ever seen, an eerie amalgamation of organic and inorganic matter. The walls pulsated with an otherworldly glow, casting eerie shadows across the dark expanse. As I approached, a deafening silence engulfed me. My heartbeat drowned out by the oppressive stillness. The walls seemed to whisper ancient secrets, a language beyond human comprehension. I couldn't tear my eyes away, drawn deeper into the labyrinth by an unseen force. Suddenly the walls trembled, and the labyrinth came alive. It twisted and turned, shifting its form like a living creature. Panic gripped me as I realized I was trapped within this nightmare, its insidious intent becoming clear. With every twist and turn, the labyrinth grew tighter, closing in around me. Claustrophobia gripped my mind, and I fought for every breath. Shadows danced and flickered, taking the shape of grotesque figures, reaching out to drag me deeper into the abyss. In my desperate struggle to escape, I felt a presence, something ancient and malevolent. It whispered in my ear, its voice a chilling echo in the depths. It promised unimaginable horrors, eternal suffering in the grip of its grasp. Fear consumed me, my every thought tainted by the darkness that surrounded me. Just as I was on the brink of surrender, a glimmer of hope appeared, a faint light in the distance cutting through the darkness. With every ounce of strength left in me, I fought my way towards it, clawing my way through the suffocating grip of the labyrinth. Finally, I emerged from the depths, gasping for air and clinging to the last shreds of my sanity. I was the only survivor, the sole witness to the terrors that lurked in the abyssal labyrinth. The experience had changed me, scarred me in ways that could never be undone. Since that fateful day, I have become a mere shell of my former self. Nightmares haunt my sleep, visions of monstrous creatures and suffocating darkness. I am tormented by the knowledge that the abyssal labyrinth still exists, its horrors waiting to claim more unsuspecting souls. I share my story now as a warning to those who dare to venture into the depths. The ocean is a realm of both beauty and terror, a place where the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Do not be lured by curiosity or a thirst for knowledge, for the price you may pay is far too high. The abyssal labyrinth will forever be etched into my mind, a reminder of the unfathomable darkness that lies beneath the surface. The deep sea holds secrets that should never be unraveled, for some mysteries are better left undisturbed. The rain poured relentlessly as I pulled my coat tightly around me, shielding myself from the chilling wind that whipped through the deserted streets. Seeking refuge from the storm, I stumbled upon the Grand Manor, a majestic yet eerie luxury hotel that stood as a lone sentinel in the darkness. Curiosity piqued, I pushed open the grand oak doors, revealing a vast, dimly lit lobby adorned with exquisite chandeliers and opulent furnishings. The scent of aged wood and musty air lingered, permeating the space. I approached the front desk where a disheveled concierge greeted me with hollow eyes. "Welcome to the Grand Manor," he whispered, his voice barely audible above the sound of raindrops pelting the windows. "We've been expecting you." Startled, I stuttered, "How did you know?" Ignoring my question, he handed me an ornate, tarnished key. "Room 666 awaits you. Do enjoy your stay." Unease gnawed at my core as I ascended the creaking staircase, the steps groaning beneath my weight. Each floor seemed shrouded in an unsettling silence, broken only by the distant echo of muffled voices and faint footsteps. Upon reaching the 6th floor, I found room 666, its heavy oak door standing ominously before me. With trembling hands, I inserted the key into the lock, and the door creaked open, revealing a chamber cloaked in darkness. A flickering lamp cast eerie shadows on the faded wallpaper, giving the room a surreal, nightmarish quality. A shiver ran down my spine, but I couldn't resist stepping inside. The air grew frigid, and the room exuded a malevolent energy. As I settled into the lumpy mattress, strange whispers seemed to seep through the walls, chilling my bones. Shadows danced in the corners of my vision, fleeting and elusive, as though they were hiding something sinister. That night, sleep eluded me, and I lay awake, consumed by the oppressive atmosphere. The distant sound of a music box reached my ears, its delicate melody echoing through the hallways. It was a haunting tune, reminiscent of a bygone era, and it sent shivers down my spine. As the hours stretched on, the walls seemed to come alive, shifting and undulating. Faces appeared in the peeling wallpaper, contorted in agony and despair. The room itself seemed to breathe, pulsating with a malevolent life force. I wanted to escape, to flee from the clutches of this unholy place, but I was paralyzed by an unseen force. When dawn finally broke, I stumbled out of the room, desperate for respite from the horrors that had plagued me throughout the night. The once lavish hotel had transformed into a decrepit and desolate maze, its grandeur replaced by decay and desolation. It was a labyrinth of despair, with each hallway leading to a new nightmare. In my quest for escape, I encountered the other guests, their faces etched with fear and torment. They whispered of a curse that had befallen the Grand Manor, trapping them within its spectral grasp. They had become prisoners, condemned to relive their darkest moments for eternity. Together, we navigated the hotel's treacherous corridors, hoping to find an exit, but it seemed that the hotel was determined to keep us captive. Doors vanished, hallways twisted and turned upon themselves, confounding our efforts. The walls seemed to close in, suffocating us as we descended into madness. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into an interminable nightmare. The line between reality and hallucination blurred, as the hotel fed on our fears and regrets. We were but pawns in its sadistic game, mere playthings for the malevolent spirits that inhabited its walls. My mind is on the brink of insanity, haunted by the torments that lurk within the Grand Manor. I share this tale with you as a warning, a cautionary tale of a luxury hotel turned prison. If you ever find yourself drawn to its elegant facade, I implore you, turn away. For within those walls lies a darkness that cannot be escaped, a darkness that will consume your soul and bind you to its malevolent grip forever. I never expected that a seemingly ordinary trip to McDonald's would turn into a horrifying nightmare that would haunt me for the rest of my life. It was a cold, rainy night when my curiosity got the better of me, leading me to unravel the dark secrets hidden within the heart of the Golden Arches. As the raindrops pelted against my windshield, I noticed a flickering neon sign ahead, the familiar emblem of McDonald's. Despite the late hour, the restaurant's doors stood open, inviting me in. Hungry and tired, I decided to seize the opportunity and indulge in a late-night snack. Entering the dimly lit interior, I was struck by an eerie silence. No cheerful chatter or sizzling of burgers met my ears, only a suffocating stillness. I dismissed it as a consequence of the late hour and approached the counter, where a young employee with vacant eyes stood waiting. "Welcome to McDonald's," she murmured in a monotone voice that sent shivers down my spine. Ignoring my unease, I placed my order, hoping to hasten my departure from this unsettling place. But as the minutes passed, the employee's gaze never wavered from mine, as though she knew something I didn't. Finally, my order arrived, a tray laden with a burger and fries that seemed unusually heavy. Curiosity gripped me,
urging me to peek beneath the bun. To my horror, I discovered a strange, wriggling creature nestled among the condiments, a grotesque mix of flesh and metal, a nightmarish hybrid. I recoiled in disgust, my stomach churning with a mix of revulsion and fear. I hastily returned to the counter, demanding an explanation. The employee's eyes betrayed a flicker of something, fear perhaps, before she muttered, "The forbidden order." Her words echoed through the empty restaurant, chilling me to the bone. Driven by a morbid curiosity, I dared to delve further into this twisted tale. I pressed the employee for answers, and with each passing moment her resistance crumbled. She revealed the existence of a secret society that operated within the shadows of McDonald's, a clandestine group dabbling in the dark arts. According to the employee, a secret menu existed, one that offered forbidden delights to those brave enough to ask for them. These items were rumored to possess a sinister power, drawing upon the darkest recesses of human desires. The Forbidden Order, she claimed, was the pinnacle of this unholy menu, a dish that could grant unspeakable twisted wishes. Unsure whether to believe her, I couldn't help but wonder about the countless rumors of disappearances and strange occurrences associated with this McDonald's location. Were they all connected to the Forbidden Order? With a mixture of fear and curiosity, I resolved to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Night after night, I returned to the empty restaurant, driven by an obsession that consumed me. I demanded the Forbidden Order, determined to unravel its mysteries. With each request, the employee's demeanor grew more distressed, her eyes betraying her guilt and fear. Then, on the fateful night that would forever scar my soul, she relented. In a trembling voice, she whispered the incantation required to summon the Forbidden Order, a jumble of words that sent shivers racing down my spine. The air grew heavy with anticipation as I waited for the manifestation of my darkest desires. Suddenly, the restaurant transformed. Walls dripped with blood, the air thick with a putrid stench. Figures, half human and half monster, emerged from the shadows, their eyes burning with malevolence. My heart raced as terror gripped me, realizing that I had awakened a force far beyond my comprehension. I ran, pursued by those abominations, their grotesque forms distorting the world around me. The walls seemed to close in, the very fabric of reality unraveling. Desperation consumed me as I fought to escape, knowing that my fate was sealed. But just as I thought all hope was lost, I stumbled upon a hidden door, an escape from the nightmarish realm I had unwittingly entered. I sprinted through the doorway, emerging into the safety of the rain-soaked streets. Behind me, the McDonald's vanished, leaving no trace of its macabre existence. To this day, I bear the scars of that encounter, haunted by the memories of the Forbidden Order. It serves as a chilling reminder that even within the familiar and mundane, unspeakable horrors lie hidden, waiting to be unleashed upon those foolish enough to seek them out. So, should you ever find yourself drawn to the late-night allure of McDonald's, beware the Forbidden Order. For the Golden Arches hold secrets that no human should ever discover, a secret menu that promises to fulfill your darkest desires, but at the cost of your very soul.
I woke up in a hospital bed, disoriented and surrounded by a chilling silence. The air felt heavy, suffocating me as I struggled to remember how I ended up in this place. My body trembled as I tried to sit up, but an intense pain shot through my chest, pinning me back down. Panic began to consume me, and my mind raced with thoughts of what could have happened. The room was dimly lit, casting eerie shadows on the sterile walls. The flickering fluorescent lights overhead added to the unsettling atmosphere. I called out for help, but my voice seemed to dissipate into the void. It was as if I was trapped in a nightmare, with no hope of escape. Time lost its meaning in that hospital room. Days blended into nights, and the monotony was only broken by the occasional sound of distant footsteps, or the hushed whispers of unseen figures. The nurses and doctors were nowhere to be found, leaving me to fend for myself in this labyrinth of fear. As I lay there, my senses heightened, and I became acutely aware of the eerie happenings around me. Strange whispers echoed through the halls, their sinister tones seeping into my bones. Shadows danced on the walls, their grotesque forms mocking my feeble attempts to understand their presence. The hospital itself seemed alive, pulsating with a malevolent energy that infected every corner. One night, as I lay awake, I heard a door creak open down the hallway. A shiver ran down my spine as a figure emerged from the darkness. It was a patient, or what used to be a patient. Their eyes were empty voids, devoid of any spark of life. The gaunt figure shuffled toward me, their skeletal fingers reaching out as if longing for something I couldn't comprehend. Terrified, I mustered the strength to crawl out of bed, desperate to escape this nightmare. I stumbled through the dimly lit corridors, each step an agonizing reminder of the pain I felt deep within. The hospital seemed to shift around me, the hallways elongating and twisting, leading me deeper into its heart. As I continued my desperate escape, the hospital's secrets began to reveal themselves. Forgotten rooms filled with archaic medical equipment, each one tainted by the cries of past patients. Bloodstains marred the floors, etching the horrors of the hospital's history into my mind. It was as if the very walls held the memories of suffering and despair. But it was in the basement that I discovered the true nature of the hospital's evil. As I descended the stairs, the air grew colder, and the sound of dripping water echoed through the darkness. The flickering lights overhead barely illuminated the horrifying sight that awaited me. Rows of cages lined the walls, each one holding a grotesque creature that defied all logic. Twisted forms, barely recognizable as human, writhed and moaned in agony. Their tortured faces seemed to beckon me, pleading for release from this unholy place. But I could do nothing but watch in horror, their haunting cries echoing in my ears. Suddenly, a piercing scream filled the air, shaking me to my core. I turned to see the figure that had haunted my dreams since waking up in this hospital. The patient I had encountered before, now transformed into a nightmarish creature, its limbs contorted and elongated. It lunged at me with an inhuman speed, its hollow eyes filled with malice. I ran, adrenaline pumping through my veins, pushing my body past its limits. The hospital seemed to fight against my escape, its halls elongating and shifting with each turn. The creatures pursued me, their moans and cries growing louder, driving me further into madness. Just when I thought all hope was lost, I burst through the hospital's entrance, the light of the moon offering a fleeting sense of safety. As I stumbled away, I glanced back at the building that had held me captive. The hospital stood tall, its windows reflecting the torment of all those who had suffered within its walls. To this day, I can still hear the whispers of the hospital, the echoes of the patients trapped within its grasp. The experience forever changed me, leaving behind a deep-seated fear of the unknown. And as I walk past hospitals, I can't help but wonder if the horrors that plagued me are confined to that one building, or if they lurk within the walls of every medical institution, waiting to claim their next victim.
I had always heard about the allure of a road trip, the freedom of the open road stretching out before you, promising adventure and discovery. But as I embarked on my winter excursion through the desolate countryside, little did I know that my journey would transform into a harrowing nightmare that would haunt my dreams forever. It was the dead of winter, and the biting cold gnawed at my bones as I navigated my way through the treacherous snow-covered roads. The desolation was palpable, with only the occasional barren tree or abandoned farmhouse breaking the monotony of the wintry landscape. The world outside my car was a frozen abyss, as if nature itself had conspired against me. With each passing mile, the snowfall grew heavier, reducing visibility to mere feet. The world became a blur of swirling white, and I felt a growing sense of unease. It was as if an unseen presence lurked beyond the veil of snow, watching, waiting. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the silence, jolting me from my thoughts. My heart skipped a beat as I glanced in the rearview mirror, catching sight of a pair of glowing, malevolent eyes piercing through the darkness. The realization hit me like a sledgehammer. The monster was real, and it was following me. My foot pressed harder on the accelerator, but the car struggled against the deepening snow. Panic surged through my veins as the monstrous creature closed in, its grotesque form emerging from the blizzard. Towering above the trees, its massive frame was covered in matted, dirty fur. Its elongated limbs ended in razor-sharp claws, ready to tear me apart. Frantic, I swerved left and right, desperately trying to elude the monster's pursuit. But it was relentless, undeterred by the treacherous conditions. With every passing moment, it drew nearer, its malicious intent evident in its bloodthirsty gaze. As the road curved ahead, I saw a faint light in the distance, a small, dilapidated cabin nestled among the trees. I knew I had to reach it, my only hope of finding refuge from the clutches of the beast. Adrenaline coursed through my veins as I fought against the elements, each breath coming in ragged gasps. Finally, I skidded to a stop in front of the cabin, the monster hot on my heels. I flung open the door and stumbled inside, slamming it shut just as the creature lunged, its claws scraping against the wood. The cabin's interior was as chilling as the storm outside, with faded wallpaper peeling from the walls and a musty smell permeating the air. The howling wind rattled the windows, but I felt a fleeting sense of relief, believing I had found temporary sanctuary. But as I turned to assess my surroundings, I noticed a trail of blood leading from the bedroom. Dread settled over me like a shroud as I followed the macabre path, my heart pounding in my chest. The bedroom door creaked open, revealing a horrifying sight. The room was drenched in crimson, and the torn remains of what was once a human lay strewn across the floor. Panic welled within me as I realized that the monster's insatiable hunger had found a new victim. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed through the cabin, growing louder and closer. I was trapped, ensnared in the clutches of a bloodthirsty monster that showed no mercy. My only option was to fight, to summon every ounce of courage I possessed. Armed with a makeshift weapon, I prepared to face the creature head-on. The door burst open, and I locked eyes with the beast that had haunted me for miles. Its snarls filled the room, its putrid breath assaulting my senses. In a flurry of adrenaline-fueled desperation, I swung my weapon, striking the creature with all my might. The blow landed true, and for a moment, victory seemed within reach. But the monster was not so easily vanquished. It retaliated, its claws ripping through my flesh, and I felt the searing pain of its relentless assault. But even as darkness closed in around me, I fought on, summoning a strength I never knew I possessed. With one final, desperate strike, I severed the monster's head from its grotesque body, its lifeless form collapsing to the floor. As the adrenaline subsided, pain and exhaustion overwhelmed me. I had survived, but at a cost. I knew that the horror I had faced would forever be etched into my psyche, a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the monsters that lurked in the shadows. And so, as I left the desolate cabin, the snow continued to fall, burying the secrets of that fateful road trip beneath a pristine white blanket. The memory of that night would forever haunt me, a chilling reminder of the darkness that exists beyond the safety of our everyday lives. So, dear reader, as you embark on your own road trips through the wintry countryside, beware the howling winds and the creatures that lurk within the blizzard. For once the sun sets and the world turns cold, you may find yourself facing a terror beyond your worst nightmares. A snowbound monster hungry for blood and consumed by malevolence.
I remember it like it was yesterday. The day my friends and I embarked on what was supposed to be a memorable vacation, a respite from the mundane routines of our lives. Little did we know that our escape to paradise would soon descend into a nightmare we could never have imagined. Our destination was the secluded Blackwood Lodge, nestled deep within a dense forest. Its eerie reputation added to its allure, as we craved an adrenaline-fueled adventure. The lodge, with its looming shadow and overgrown vines, stood as a testament to the secrets it held within. As we arrived, a shiver ran down my spine, as if an unseen presence was already warning us of the horrors that awaited. We dismissed it as mere imagination, eager to settle into our cabins and begin our much-anticipated vacation. The first night was uneventful. We laughed, shared stories, and basked in the warmth of the fireplace, blissfully unaware of the malevolence that lurked in the shadows. But as the clock struck midnight, whispers filled the air, creeping into our dreams and morphing into haunting nightmares. The following day, we decided to explore the surrounding woods, hoping to uncover the secrets of the lodge's haunted history. The forest seemed alive, the rustling leaves and twisted branches whispering ancient tales of despair and darkness. We stumbled upon a worn-out trail, leading us deeper into the heart of the wilderness. A foreboding fog enveloped us, obstructing our vision and heightening our anxiety. The forest transformed into an otherworldly maze, where every step felt like a descent into madness. Shadows danced in the corners of our vision, whispering dreadful secrets into our ears. As night fell once again, the true horrors of our vacation revealed themselves. Doors slammed shut with an unseen force, and eerie cries echoed through the halls of the lodge. Each room seemed to hold a sinister secret, as if the spirits of the past were trapped within its walls, desperate to make their presence known. One by one, my friends started vanishing into thin air. Terrified, I searched for them, only to find empty rooms and chilling silence. The lodge became a labyrinth of terror, with each turn leading me deeper into an abyss of fear. Desperation gripped my heart as I realized I was trapped in a nightmare from which there was no escape. The final night arrived, casting a pall of darkness over my shattered spirit. I was the last one left, the sole survivor of a once hopeful vacation. Shadows danced in the corners of my vision, mocking my futile attempts to find solace. The air grew thick with dread, suffocating my every breath. In the depths of despair, a revelation struck me. The lodge thrived on fear, feeding off our dread and torment. The more we succumbed to its sinister charm, the stronger it became. It had become a sentient entity, intent on claiming our souls for eternity. Summoning the last vestiges of my courage, I resolved to break free from its clutches. I gathered every ounce of strength, resisting the urge to succumb to the maddening whispers that echoed through the halls. With each step, the shadows retreated, weakened by my defiance. As I burst through the lodge's front doors, a blinding light consumed me. The forest, once ominous and unforgiving, seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. I had escaped, but the memories of that dreadful vacation would forever haunt my dreams. Now, as I recount my tale, a warning etched in blood, I urge you to beware of the Blackwood Lodge. It stands as a testament to the darkness that lies within us all, a reminder that even the most idyllic vacations can turn into the stuff of nightmares. I was always fascinated by the outdoors. The allure of nature's mysteries called to me, and so I decided to become a park ranger. Little did I know that this decision would lead me down a dark and terrifying path. I started my new job at the secluded Pineview National Park, a vast expanse of dense forests and towering mountains. The tranquility of the place was almost palpable, but something sinister lurked beneath the serene facade. During my first week on the job, I heard whispers from my fellow rangers about strange occurrences in the park. They spoke of mysterious disappearances, eerie noises in the dead of night, and sightings of shadowy figures darting between the trees. At first, I dismissed them as nothing more than campfire tales meant to scare the rookies. One moonless night, I was on patrol with my partner, Jake. The air was thick with an unnatural stillness that sent shivers down my spine. We walked along the dimly lit trail, our flashlights piercing the darkness. As we made our way deeper into the heart of the park, a bone-chilling howl echoed through the trees. It was a sound that could curdle blood and freeze the soul. We exchanged nervous glances, our senses heightened. The forest seemed to come alive around us. Branches creaked, leaves rustled, and the whispers grew louder as if the very trees were conspiring against us. Panic gnawed at the edges of my mind, but I forced myself to stay focused. Suddenly, Jake halted, his eyes fixed on something in the distance. A figure, cloaked in shadows, stood motionless. It was tall and unnaturally thin, its presence exuding an otherworldly aura. Fear gripped my heart as the figure turned its head toward us. Its eyes glowed with an eerie light piercing through the darkness. We stood frozen, our bodies paralyzed with terror. With a bone-chilling hiss, the figure vanished into thin air, leaving only a sense of dread in its wake. The incident shook us to the core, but we couldn't ignore the dangers that lurked within the park. We delved into the history of Pineview National Park, unearthing a dark secret. Decades ago, a cult had conducted forbidden rituals in these very woods, invoking ancient and malevolent forces. We discovered that the disappearances were not mere accidents or animal attacks. They were sacrifices, offerings to the ancient entities that haunted the park. The cult had long disbanded, but its dark legacy remained. Armed with this knowledge, Jake and I vowed to protect the park and its unsuspecting visitors. We patrolled day and night, our senses honed to detect any signs of danger. But the creatures that lurked in the shadows were relentless. One night, while investigating a strange disturbance, we stumbled upon an ancient underground chamber concealed beneath a gnarled oak tree. The air was heavy with the stench of decay and malice. Symbols and sigils adorned the walls, marking a gateway to a realm of unspeakable horror. As we stood before the yawning abyss, a chorus of unholy whispers filled the chamber. We knew we had to seal this gateway before the malevolent forces could escape. With trembling hands, we gathered every ounce of courage and recited an ancient incantation. But our efforts were in vain. The earth trembled beneath our feet as a grotesque creature emerged from the depths of the portal. It was a nightmarish abomination, a twisted amalgamation of flesh and bone. Its empty eyes stared into the depths of our souls, and a sense of impending doom washed over us. With a thunderous roar, the creature lunged towards us, its monstrous claws ready to rend us apart. In a desperate bid to save ourselves and the park, we fought back with all our might. It was a battle of survival against a malevolent entity from the darkest corners of existence. In the end, we managed to banish the creature back into the abyss, but the scars it left behind were etched deep within our souls. We realized that evil would always linger in the depths of Pineview National Park, waiting for its next opportunity to break free. And so, we continue our watchful vigil, park rangers forever haunted by the horrors we've witnessed. The once serene Pineview National Park has become a place of nightmares, a hunting ground for the malevolent forces that reside within. The next time you find yourself amidst the tranquility of nature, remember that even the most serene places can hide the darkest secrets, and the terror that awaits may be beyond your wildest nightmares.